From Harvard to Apple, former US President Donald Trump is back with bold rhetoric targeting America's elite institutions and global supply chains. But what do these attacks mean for countries like India? Today, we break down how America First is impacting India's education diplomacy and its Make in India manufacturing push. Before we dive in further, don't forget to follow and subscribe to Pune Times Mirror on social media to stay abreast of the latest news and updates. Trump's criticism of Harvard University isn't new. He's long accused elite institutions of being hostile to conservative values. But this time, it's more than political. It's personal. His recent outrage stems from student activism at Harvard over the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which he claims is anti-Semitic. For Trump and his supporters, Harvard represents everything they oppose: liberalism, globalism, and what they call woke culture. Attacking the university is symbolic of a broader cultural war: populism versus elitism, opinion versus science. But beyond the US borders, Trump's attacks have ripple effects. If institutions that champion free thought are sidelined, it could influence global educational partnerships, and India must be cautious. India sends hundreds of thousands of students to the US each year, many to institutions like Harvard. Attacks on these spaces shrink the room for intellectual diplomacy and may reshape how India engages with the US academically. And it's not just Harvard. Trump's pressure on Apple to relocate production away from India is a signal to rewire the global supply chain, one that India is now deeply embedded in. In April 2025 alone, Apple exported nearly 2.9 million iPhones from India to the US, a 76% increase over last year. Foxconn, Pegatron, and Wistron have invested nearly $900 million under India's PLI scheme. Thousands of jobs have been created. However, Trump's warning is clear. Any iPhones made outside the US may face a 25% import tariff, which means Apple's Indian-made iPhones could soon become expensive in the American market, undermining India's role in the supply chain. Such a move could cripple the Make in India momentum. It's not just about Apple, it signals a possible trend where American firms pull back operations from India under political pressure. India now stands at crossroads. Should it rely on multinational companies like Apple or invest in its own innovation and manufacturing strength? The government's push for Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant India, was never more relevant. The shift must now move beyond slogans to strategy. Support local firms, incentivize R&D, that is research and development, and build globally competitive infrastructure. At the same time, India must diversify its partnerships. From Europe to Southeast Asia, stronger trade and education ties can buffer the shock waves from shifting US politics. From classrooms to factory floors, the message is clear. America's internal politics are creating global tremors. But for India, this is not just a test, it's a turning point. Will it rise to the occasion or remain a cog in someone else's machine? The next steps could define the next decade. What is your opinion regarding the matter? Let us know in the comments down below. Stay tuned for more such interesting news and updates. This is Shreyas Vange from Pune Times Mirror.